All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to dance through Chapter 8, which talks about aquatic biodiversity. And so let's get right into it. So the first section of this stuff, just the general layout of aquatic systems. So aquatic systems come in two major flavors, as one would guess. Those involving saltwater or marine, and then freshwater. And so there's a variety of both of these. Freshwater can be broken into lakes or moving things such as rivers and streams. So stagnant water and moving water. Stagnant's not fair, but settled. And then inland wetlands. Saltwater is a little more diverse marine. So you have estuaries, you have coastal wetlands, you have coral reefs, mangrove forests, and open ocean. And some of these are actually subpieces of others, like mangrove forests and estuaries kind of can go together a little bit. We'll delve into each one of those and take a closer look. So when we're talking about this, it's important to understand the type of organisms that are present in each location. So aquatic systems have a variety of different types of organisms. There's ones that float, drift, swim, ones that hang out just on the bottom, and then decomposers. And so each one of those is kind of its own group. Plankton is the first group. They're kind of the start of the food chain in many cases. They're important. They're usually not good swimmers, which is laid out here. And they usually are just floating around in the water. And they actually are broken into three major categories. Phytoplankton, which are plants. They're autotrophs. They're taking the solar energy and starting the process. So they're the producer, or they're like the plants that are out in the ocean. From that you have zooplankton, which are small animal-like creatures that like to eat each other and or phytoplankton. And then ultraplankton are photosynthetic bacteria, which aren't always thought of as being as part of the freshwater ecosystem, but they're quite important. Next, nectins. Those are the traditional ocean creatures that we think of. Usually they're the first ones that come to mind when we're having conversations about these things. Fish, turtles, whales, things that swim around in the ocean, bigger creatures along those lines. Benthos. These things are the bottom dwellers. So they're things that can be filter feeders like oysters and barnacles. They hang out, they don't move around a ton, but they are an important part of the water ecosystems. And then decomposers, they're needed everywhere on the planet and in the oceans and water sources. Quite often they are bacteria. Okay, when we're talking about aquatic ecosystems, it's important to keep a couple things in mind. But what determines the number and types of creatures that are present in these locations are a couple key ideas. Temperature matters a lot. Temperature is going to determine how many of each particular creature is at a specific location, and it usually correlates about the same as it does on land. The warmer places have more biodiversity. Access to sunlight, you got to have it for photosynthesis, and so that's just like it is on land, it's in water. Dissolved oxygen, this is one that pertains to water but not so much to land, and so creatures need dissolved oxygen to function, and so it's important to have a high level of that if that's possible. And then there's got to be nutrients present for the creatures to exist in aquatic ecosystems. And of course these things vary by the depth underground or underground, under the surface of the water. And so depth plays an important role in all four of these different things. And so there's a term that pops up quite a bit when we talk about aquatic systems, and that's euphotic zone. Greek for well lit, it means the place where sunlight can get to. So the sunlight, or the euphotic zone, is a really important component in water ecosystems because it's where basically photosynthesis can happen, and so that's what's driving the food webs of aquatic situations. That's it for the first section, so stay tuned and we'll do future sections here.